Hello. I want to share a couple of things just very quickly in regards to sustainability and the scripture Matthew 17:20. And in summary, Matthew 17:20 reminds us that if we have just a little faith, and it's described most often, we know it as a mustard seed. And so in the physical, we know that a mustard seed is a small seed in comparison to most. And so what is it about this faith the size of a mustard seed and sustainability? And I had a different thought about that particular scripture. The question isn't how much faith do you need? That's not the question. The question is, what's the size of your mustard seed? And so this sustainability is one of the key components that come along with faith, the size of whatever the mustard seed needs to be. And thinking about this sustainability, that is where it starts. And that is where it begins. That is the foundation and the last brick. This is why Most High, I call them Aravat. I call them Aravat. And divine source has equipped us all with the right amount of mustard seed that we need to sustain us for today. And it did yesterday. That's why we are still continuing to build upon this journey today in this 3D place, regardless of the surroundings, regardless of your journey at this point in time. It continues in this place. And that's not always something to be thankful for, if being quite honest. However, it feeds that mustard seed, and that's what you want to do. Because the journey that we are all on here, many of us for many times over, back to learn new lessons. One of those key lessons is taking what you've learned from the previous life and bringing it forward. And with that, when you return again to correct karmic wrongs, what have you, or to receive what was stolen or taken from you, including your own life in some cases. But that's what you're doing. You're adding to all of your history, all of your ancestors, all of the wisdom that you've downloaded, all of the lifetimes that you got to this same point and that fork in the road, and you were wondering, okay, what am I going to do? But you've been here before. And this is why you are again, because it's another opportunity. So your faith provides sustainability. And if you want to get into energy, then that is primarily your root and your solar plexus chakras. Okay? So grounding and your self-esteem, the faith you have within yourself. Okay? So know that the journey doesn't get easier. Okay? And that's where I was going. The journey doesn't get easier. However, wisdom upon wisdom, lifetime upon lifetime, you get better, you grow wiser. And so your sustained faith has brought you thus far. However far that is, you might believe that's only on ground zero, first step, no step. However, you hearing this is certainly a sign from your ancestors to you, saying that you are, as uncomfortable as it might be, or as joyful and elated, and oh my God, how can it get much more, how can it get even better than what it is? It can. It can. And so, again, however you come across this video, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Nehru, and I am an extraterrestrial spirit guide, healer, and shamanic Egyptian bloodline here on the planet for the 10th and final time to bring about the justice that's needed, and not just on my own. There are many of us who walk in the physical today. Some have awakened, and others are again still on their awakening journey. But however you came across this video, it's on purpose. You were meant to hear this. Thank you so much, and be encouraged.